News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
KBNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Whole Tree Care. A 41-year-old Logan man who was previously arrested for voyeurism twice has pleaded guilty again to videoing a woman changing clothes at a North Logan department store. Jordan M. Larson accepted a plea deal that allowed him to be released from jail while awaiting sentencing. Larson participated in a virtual hearing in First District Court Wednesday morning. He pleaded guilty to one count of voyeurism by electronic equipment, a Class A misdemeanor. Defense attorney Ryan Holdaway said that as part of the plea agreement, he and prosecutors were asking the court to release Larson on probation until sentencing. He explained how his client had already served 31 days in jail. Larson was arrested March 2nd after North Park police officers were called to the store on report of a male individual who was seen putting his phone under the dressing room stall as a female was changing. However, once law enforcement arrived, the suspect had reportedly fled the store on foot. Police spoke to the alleged victim and collected evidence at the store. Larson turned himself in to the North Park Police Department a day later. He reportedly admitted to officers that he had placed the phone under the dressing room stall and recorded a 6-second video. Judge Brian Cannell said he would follow the attorney's request and release Larson until sentencing. He ordered the defendant, though, to meet and comply with probation agents as soon as he is released. Larson was scheduled to be sentenced June 8th. He still could face up to 1 year in jail. KBNU News Time is 4:06. KBNU weather tonight, mostly clear, low around 30, and then sunny to partly cloudy, warmer tomorrow, around 70 for the high. And then a cool down for Saturday, partly cloudy skies, and high temperature in the lower 50s. It's been to 57. It's 56 right now at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. When you buy Napa Auto Parts, you're getting the best parts. If you need a new battery or wiper blades, pull into any of the 5 locally owned Napa stores. They will even help you install them. 5 locations from Preston to Providence.
Men, sometimes women drop subtle hints like,
"Hey, honey, the weather sure is nice today."
Yeah, I think I'll go golfing with the fellas.
Ugh, whatever.
Sometimes we just need more direct language like,
"Honey, call Whole Tree Care to trim and clean up all those gnarly shrubs and dead, twisted branches. I want to enjoy the yard this summer, not dread it."
You know, I was thinking the same thing.
Call Hull Tree Care, 760-6587. Ask about their radio discount. They also do tree and stump removal. 760-6587.
KBNU News Time is 5:08. A Provo man was arrested after police said he attempted to grab a baby from the back of a vehicle on Tuesday. KUTV reports that 51-year-old Emilio Lopez Bernal was identified as the suspect by Provo police and was arrested on one count of child kidnapping. According to police, 2 women were sitting in a vehicle in a driveway with a 1-year-old girl in the back seat shortly before 5 p.m. in Provo. Bernal approached the vehicle while the women were waiting for a third lady to come out so they could run errands. He allegedly reached out to the baby and said in Spanish, "Give me the baby." The victim began telling Bernal to move away from the vehicle, and at this point, Bernal was leaning into the back seat and reaching for the child, according to the statement. The victim's other daughter grabbed the child and got out of the vehicle and through the opposite door and ran into the home. Bernal closed the door and ran off to some nearby rose bushes while the victim called police. The man was standing on the porch when police arrived. The individual was taken into custody after police learned he had outstanding warrants. And the NBA plans to keep its next All-Star game in Salt Lake City despite its opposition to Utah's ban on transgender youth athletes playing on girls' teams. The Utah Jazz are set to host the event next February, but there was speculation the league could take it away because of what the team called discriminatory legislation. But Commissioner Adam Silver said Wednesday the event will stay put as planned. The NBA did pull the 2017 All-Star Game out of Charlotte because of its opposition to a North Carolina law known as HB 2 that limited anti-discrimination protections for lesbian, gay, and transgender people. KBNU News Time is 4:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Local news and the best talk. News Talk KVNU.
After that long, cold winter, my green grass blades are dingy, yellow, and smashed down. I need a little help waking up. Oh, and I need help fighting off those pesky weeds. What can I do?
Don't worry, friend. Logan Extermination helps lawns come out of tough winters. And right now, they have a special on pre-emergent and fertilizer application. It'll keep weeds down and green up your grass for only $55. Call Logan Extermination for details. 752-8450. Based on maximum 5,000 square feet.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Friday on This Morning, America's First News, how Russia's unproductive economy and widespread corruption are partly to blame for the military's underperformance in Ukraine. Also, how Supreme Court confirmations got so bitterly partisan. Hear how many observers trace the starting point to Reagan nominee Robert Bork, and why so many eligible Americans skip free tax help. Friday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Vehicle accidents are stressful enough. You don't need someone showing up at the scene trying to pressure you into letting them tow away your vehicle. Call your roadside assistance provider or insurance company for towing company suggestions, or consult with police on the scene. And always have the price and terms in writing before you let them hook it up. If you suspect fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB or visit www.nicb.org. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cash Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People, Thursday, April 7th. I'm Jason Williams, Bill Walter here in the studio as well. Coming up on the show today, an update in our, proud to be a part of it, effort to help the Family Place celebrate their 40th anniversary this year in various ways. Director of the Family Place will be joining us in hour 2 of today's show. An update from Logan Library Director Karen Clark as well, how things are going in their temporary location, as well as the construction of a new building. If you've seen that site, it's the old building's gone, and things are starting to come together, at least as far as the bottom part of the new building. Also, 2 USU students in the political science department organizing efforts to help the people of Ukraine. That's all coming up later on in the show. Kicking things off here this hour, it is Thursday at 4 o'clock. That means it's time to step away from the heavier news of the state and the county and the world and take a look into the world of arts, entertainment, theater, and more. Our good friend Charlie Schill here in the studio with us every Thursday at 4 o'clock. Charlie writes for CashValleyDaily.com, and you can read his work there. News stories, theater reviews, and more each and every day. But once a week, he sits down with us in the studio to give you an idea of what you can get out and entertain yourself with. And Charlie, I saved it. Last week, you brought a list of everything happening. Well, not, as you said, not even everything. Things will be added to this. There will be some, things that pop up that aren't currently on calendars. But even with what we know right now, well, as an example, last week we spent an hour talking about this, and I think we made it to June. If even that, we didn't even get through the full summer of events. And I see this week we've got the list, but then you brought some other things with you as well.
Yeah, I don't remember where we left off last time.
I thought I swore I made a note, but then I looked at my list and I did not make a note.
Well, I think we were, to Beauty and the Beast.
We did. We did talk about Beauty and the Beast. I remember that.
Okay.
So maybe that is where we left off. Yeah, we did talk about Fox and the Fairway. I remember that. Beauty and the Beast. That must be where we stopped. So yeah, June.
By the way, interesting thing. Went out to see the staged reading of the Colby Sisters.
What'd you think?
It was pretty soap opera.
Was it?
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. They took it's kind of an interesting little show. And little. It's like an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Reading, yes. And it was good. The neat thing about it is Aja Strong was the one of the leads in it, and she will be going on finishing this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but some of the people in the cast were also we're juniors and sophomores and whatever, and we're in good shape.
That's
with what they're coming up with. I've never seen any of those women, before, and
interesting.
They knocked my socks off.
So, do you make notes of names, people to watch for?
Oh yeah,
as you see these things.
But you don't need notes to remind you.
You'll remember, huh?
Oh yeah, they're going to be very, very good in the future.
It's interesting when you see, especially in a stage reading where it's not a full-on production. It's sort of sometimes a trial run. Sometimes it's just something they could do that probably, wouldn't be fully produced ever by the theater group. But you see people and think, I'm going to see this person's name again, maybe in lights even. Honestly, I've even had that experience at high school plays. I've gone to high school productions and thought, remember that name.
So
I've been wrong before too, but
yeah, it was an enjoyable experience.
That's very cool. This is along those lines. Did you get the sense that this is something they're trial ballooning for a full production?
I doubt
this was just a one-off.
I doubt it. Yeah,
okay.
I don't think that they'd. Michael Shipley directed this job, and he was sitting right in front of me taking notes.
Oh, really?
And he's going to be, giving the guys notes on what they should do and shouldn't do and blah, 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 blah. But it was really enjoyable.
It's interesting to think of, these stage readings. You think of, any athlete in any sport, and they don't just play. And think of a televised sport like the NBA. They're not just playing in those games. In the off season they play, they practice, and the same holds up for theater, for acting, but it's a little more difficult for a director to practice, and an actor to practice. And so you have these staged readings to hone skills and feel things out. And I would assume for a director, seeing a stage reading, which is easy to produce, you just need a stage and some microphones, or not even that, get a feel for your potential cast for an upcoming production. That's it's interesting to think of theater that way, to think of them practicing for fun. So that is very cool.
There's also, Baby Animal Days is continuing.
That's right. You made it out there as well, right?
No.
Not yet?
Nope. But my wife and grandson and granddaughter went out there, and they had a really good time.
That's very cool. This weekend, we already talked about these, but we have the USU Dance Troupe at the Eccles Theater on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then into next week, there's the Collision of Rhythm event at the Eccles on the 13th.
Right.
And then the next big production gets underway, which is 9 to 5 at the Morgan Theater, courtesy of the USU Theater team.
Next weekend.
The weekend after next. Okay. Very nice. So just, again, an example of how many things are going on and how quickly this ramps up this time of year. We've got a lot to talk about. As Charlie mentioned, we made it to Beauty and the Beast, which Pickleville will premiere on the 21st of June and then run throughout the summer until August 18th. And that kind of kicks off summer season, but we only made it to June talking about everything on the calendar that we know of so far, and we'll keep it going. Join us if you have a comment or a question for Charlie about theater, about arts, entertainment, anything like that, 753-5868. We'll be back right after this.
You want to feel important.
You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong.
We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you.
But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more.
When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it.
We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors.
From the mountains of Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Utah.
The deserts of Arizona and Nevada. The Pacific coasts of Washington, Oregon, and California.
To the wilderness of Alaska and islands of Hawaii and Guam.
We are here for our hometowns.
And together, we can make a difference.
Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Utah Army National Guard. Aired by the Utah Broadcasters Association and this station.
UNI Furniture is stocked up with a wide variety of home furnishings. You've heard us talk before about UNI's chair department, Chair Heaven. A big variety there means there's a good chance they're going to have the chair you're looking for. UNI also is your mattress headquarters, featuring Therapeutic and Maloof. In fact, UNI is a full-line Maloof dealer with all kinds of mattresses, headboards, adjustable bases, and even pillows and sheets. Also, try out the new Therapeutic Synthesis, a hybrid mattress with an inner spring and copper-infused memory foam. UNI has a big inventory in stock. It's ready for pickup or delivery. There's always a better buy at UNI Furniture, downtown Logan.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Charlie Schill, our guest this hour, joining us from CacheValleyDaily.com to talk theater, arts, entertainment, and more in Cache Valley. Charlie has compiled a list of everything that we know of so far going on. The list starts on April 1st with the event that we just talked about. It's already come and gone. The Colby Sisters at the Black Box. Coming up this Saturday, the USU Dance Troupe at the Eccles Theater. And then into next week, Collision of Rhythm at Eccles, and then on the 15th of April, the first evening of kind of a long run of 9 to 5 at the Morgan Theater and USU Theater, putting that together. So that kicks things off here in April. The list he's compiled, though, goes into August. And again, this is not everything that will be an option for you to get out and do. There will be things added to the calendar, things not yet announced, some changes here and there, as is usually the case. But so we left off with Pickleville starting Beauty and the Beast, their version of Beauty and the Beast, on the 21st of June. That runs to August 19th. Next is Freaky Friday on the 24th of June. This starts.
Yeah, and this one is interesting.
Oh, wow, this runs for a month?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. That's a long run for Morgan Theater.
Yeah, but it's for the lyric.
Oh, okay.
So they run it in repertoire.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
Freaky Friday is interesting. This is one of the few musicals that's been put out by Disney that did not have an origin in an animated feature.
That's right.
That we've seen two versions of this, one in 1979, something like that.
I think so. Jodie Foster was like 12.
Jodie Foster
something like
was
that.
Jodie Foster was in it, and Barbara Harris.
That's right.
And Barbara Harris is phenomenal, and that was a great show.
She was hilarious in that.
There was a later version of this thing. Not sure when it was. Sometime in the 90s, I think
so.
That had...
Because I remember there were 2 films with Jamie Lee Curtis at the same time.
Oh, really?
And the other one was Halloween H2O. And I remember thinking that was so funny that same summer, or maybe a year apart, but back to back, Halloween H2O and then the Freaky Friday remake.
And it was okay.
I've honestly never seen the reboot, the remake. The original, though, is a classic to me.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, when they decided they were going to do this, they went out and found had music composed by Tom Kitt.
Oh.
Now, Tom has done things like Next to Normal, which was a Broadway musical about I don't know, mental health in suburbia.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And they hired him, and when I went out to see this at Four Seasons, when they did it, a couple, 3 years ago.
I've forgotten about that.
I was just knocked out. The music was very, very good. Upbeat, lots of enjoyable productions, and it was fun. And this should be really good because it's done by the lyric.
That's it. What's intriguing to me about this, now I've never seen this as a stage production before, but it's intriguing to me because if you think about what most of us know, that original Disney film with Jodie Foster, what made that so fun is that role reversal, and then you have this obvious young girl in the mother role, and acting like a mom would, saying things that a mom would. And then an older actress, doing the opposite, playing the daughter. And the idea of that on stage in a live scenario it sounds hilarious, really.
And it is hilarious. And when they did it at the Four Seasons, Celeste Bayo played the mother.
Oh.
And boy, was she good.
That sounds fun just hearing about it.
She's very uptight. She's very strict. Blah 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 blah. And then bang, the event happens, and they do this change, and suddenly she's terribly loosey goosey. Just all over the place, doing very odd things, very very in a very funny way.
That is very cool. This is. I think. This is something on Facebook about this, but the name I didn't catch. Matthias Hansen was talking about this on Facebook, and I'd never heard that name before. But the video that he posted said, this is surprisingly complex to do, this play. It doesn't seem like it would be. The plot's pretty simple, but it requires the two main actors have to play two characters each.
Absolutely.
Throughout the entirety of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never thought about that, but that would be kind of a challenge. In a film setting, you've got editing to help you, or even maybe filming different scenes at different times to keep the two characters separate. But in the play, not so much.
No. And
that's intriguing.
And it's really enjoyable. This is going to be a really good show.
This is lyric. They just it's done. We talked a little bit about their Fox on the Fairway.
Yeah.
Last week, and so this is kind of intriguing to me. I don't know if they've always done this, but I noticed on their website their they're rating these productions
Yes.
for potential audience members. So I noticed Freaky Friday, like the Disney film, is rated PG, as the original Disney film was.
Sure.
And Fox on the Fairway, though, they've got it PG-13.
Yes.
That's
well, that can be just language, actually.
Sure.
But yeah, their production of Fences, which is
that's right, that's them as well.
Which is the next show on their opening, is a PG-13. Into the Breaches is a PG-13.
How funny. It's a nice courtesy, I think, and for parents out there listening, remember, this is a guess. This isn't these productions haven't been run through an official rating system. This is, in fact, on the website at usu.edu/lyricrep. They state this is their guess at a movie equivalent rating, so people know. I'm really excited. Freaky Friday, I'm intrigued by. Fences and Into the Breaches are two on my don't miss list for this summer. And I can't decide if that's because it's lyric or because I'm actually drawn to these. Fences in general, I've wanted to see that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good year for the lyric folks.
Yeah.
They've chosen well.
Yeah, I think it will be. Fences is by August Wilson. He's got the Pittsburgh Chronicle, it's called. He did 10 plays about black people in Pittsburgh.
Intriguing.
And Fences is probably one of the most difficult shows to do. It's
how many people total? Four,
I think. But the story is about a black man who was kept out of professional sports because of his skin color, of course. And he's coming to grips with the fact that his son is going to probably play professional sports.
I remember this, and this is, from the movie. That's my only experience with this story. I saw the Denzel Washington film, and I remember, this play on he's excited and happy for his son, and happy things have changed and evolved on that front, but he's also a little bitter.
He's bitter.
Because he knows he was cheated out of the same dream, and it leads to some... there's a lot of talking. He does a lot of talking.
Of course.
In this.
That's Wilson's stock and trade.
That's interesting to me. I've always been curious about checking out the whole Pittsburgh Chronicle. It's the earlier ones aren't done as much. If I remember correctly, this Fences comes halfway through or something.
Something like
somewhere
that.
Around there.
It's down towards the end. They're very, very difficult plays to watch because they tend to embarrass us.
Oh, okay.
As white people, and Wilson has done a very good job of playing with the issues that he's dramatizing, and they're hard to stomach.
Makes sense. Fences, the film again, was uncomfortable because it does remind you this actually happened, and not as long ago as we would all like to think.
Yes.
The play itself is set in is it early 60s or late 50s? I don't remember.
I think it's the early 60s.
Okay. That is Fences coming up starting July 1st. And, we skipped over a bit. Maybe on the other side we can talk about these because these are kind of, I think it's very cool they do these, but the kids' camps that are coming up as well.
Yeah.
Talking theater in Cache Valley going all the way through the summer and into early fall. As far as we know so far, the complete list. Things will be added to this, and there is a lot to get out and see, and we're still not even halfway through. We'll be back. Charlie Schill, our guest here in the studio. Charlie writes for CashValleyDaily.com, where you can read his work every day, news stories, theater reviews, and more. Please join us here on the show, though, if you have a comment or question. 753-5868. We'll be back after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:35, and the news is brought to you by Northern Steel Buildings. A 47-year-old Logan man is headed to prison for sexually abusing 5 young children over a long period of time. Fernando Carrillo asked a court for forgiveness as he was ordered to serve at least 15 years behind bars. Carrillo was sentenced during a virtual hearing in First District Court Wednesday morning. He previously pleaded guilty to 1 count of aggravated sexual abuse of a child, a first-degree felony, and 4 counts of sexual abuse of a child amended to a second-degree felony. Defense attorney Shannon Demler tried to portray his client as a hard worker who had tried to support his family but made some big mistakes. He said Carrillo had been a model inmate in jail and could be a positive member of the community after receiving counseling and treatment. Carrillo spoke briefly through an interpreter asking for mercy. He told the court he would never do anything like he did again. Cache County Deputy Attorney Dane Murray explained how Carrillo sexually abused and molested the 5 girls who ranged in age from 7 to 14 at the time the crimes occurred. All of them described similar incidents occurring while he was babysitting them at his Logan apartment. During Wednesday's sentencing, Judge Brian Cannell expressed concern about the harm done to the children, hoping they would be able to heal and find the joy they deserved. He called Carrillo's actions heinous and ordered him to serve the maximum sentence, 15 years to life, in prison. The exact length of time will be determined by the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole. The Navajo Nation has loosened coronavirus pandemic restrictions to allow more people into businesses and to gather socially and for outdoor events. The tribe has been more cautious in reopening than the states that surround it. Residents and visitors on the Navajo Nation are still required to wear a mask when in public. Tribal President Jonathan Nez says the new guidelines for businesses, schools, and gatherings are based on a consistent decline in daily coronavirus cases since a large spike in January after the holidays. Businesses, including the tribe's 4 casinos, now can operate at 75% capacity, up from 50%. KBNU News Time is 4:38.
The planet Earth has been rotating around the sun for 4.5 billion years. Since the dawn of man, we have been crafting and refining tools to dig into the Earth's surface.
Oh, me dig. Oh, me tired.
But it wasn't until today that digging could be so much fun.
Oh, me digging this.
Northern Steel Buildings will dig for you. Have them build you a hay barn, shop, warehouse, or if it's time to expand your business with a new facility, they'll move the earth around to make it happen. See their work online at northernsteelbuilding.com.
KVNU weather, mostly clear tonight, low around 30, sunny to partly cloudy, warm tomorrow, around 70 for the high, and then partly cloudy, cooler on Saturday, high temperature in the lower 50s with west winds 10 to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon. 58 has been our high. It's 58 right now at KVNU. Right now is the best time to get your trees and shrubs trimmed. Visibility is perfect right now, so do it before they leaf out. Call Whole Tree Care, 760-6587. Whole Tree Care has a certified arborist and best cleanup crew around. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Senior Branch Office Administrator Tony Smith bringing you the Daily Financial Market Report for April 7th on behalf of Ted Karen and Edward Jones. Equity markets rebounded nicely this afternoon with all 3 major averages closing in the green. Defensive sectors like healthcare and consumer staples led the way alongside energy. Markets are still digesting the Federal Reserve minutes released yesterday, where FOMC members discussed potentially raising rates by 0.50% in their May meetings, as well as reducing the balance sheet at a pace of $95 billion per month. As a result, we continue to see some upward pressure on the U.S. 10-year yield, which is now at 2.65% levels, while the 2-year yield moved lower to 2.46%. The yield curve, the difference between the 10-year yield and the 2-year yield high, has thus moved higher, now at 0.19%. Meanwhile, oil prices moved slightly higher today, with WTI as $97 levels, since under the $100 range we have seen over the past few weeks. Traditional safe haven assets like the U.S. dollar and gold also moved modestly higher today. The Dow closed up 87 points at 34,584. The Nasdaq closed up 8 points at 13,897. The S&P closed up 19 points at 4,500. In the bond market, 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 2.65% higher. In stocks of local interest, Apple closed up 36 cents at $172.19. Nucor closed up $4.42 at $150.91. Zions Bank closed down 49 cents at $63.18. Delta Airlines closed down 46 cents at $37.13. And Berkshire closed up $1.80 at $346.51. The price of crude oil was up 82 cents at $97.05. The spot price of gold was up $11.70 to $1,934.80. This has been today's financial market report for April 7th, brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and Ted Karen at 878 South Main Street.
April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month and is signified by a blue ribbon. The Family Place Utah is hosting its annual Blue Ribbon Benefit April 30th. All funds received go to their mission of strengthening families and protecting children. Tickets include dinner at the Riverwoods, as well as a live auction. Purchase your tickets at thefamilyplaceutah.org. There's also a virtual option to participate in a separate silent auction, which is free to the public. Mark your calendars for April 30th to attend the Family Place's Blue Ribbon Benefit event as we work together to strengthen families and protect children in our community.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Friday on This Morning, America's First News, how Russia's unproductive economy and widespread corruption are partly to blame for the military's underperformance in Ukraine. Also, how Supreme Court confirmations got so bitterly partisan. Hear how many observers trace the starting point to Reagan nominee Robert Bork, and why so many eligible Americans skip free tax help. Friday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Charlie Schill, our guest in the studio this hour. He writes for CashValleyDaily.com, where you can read his work each and every day, news stories, theater reviews, and more. Once a week, he sits down with us in the studio to talk theater in Cache Valley, and that's what we've been doing, making our way slowly through this list that begins in April and ends in, well, actually, I guess September on some of the end dates here. Everything we know of so far hitting the theaters in Cache Valley this summer. And I just wanted to, we jumped ahead because we were talking about Lyric. We jumped ahead to Fences, and so we skipped over the kids camps that are happening June through August. And I just wanted to at least give them a mention here, because I think I know these are a lot of work to put together, and I know that they have over the years produced talent, people who have stuck around and been a part of the Cache Valley theater scene for some time, but these are happening. They start June 6th, 13th, and run at various times in various locations until August 5th. And any idea how many years they've done this now? I know it's a few decades.
They've been doing it forever. But recently they've gotten into this habit of working with the Disney shows. Excuse me.
For the content.
Yeah. The kids camps start July 11th, and they run through August 5th. These are one-week camps by the Pickleville Playhouse. They've got they do the camps at Logan High School, the first two up till the July 22nd. July 18th, 22nd, there's also a camp for younger kids 6 and 7, that's held at the studio here in Logan. And then there's camps over at Pickleville itself that run from July 25th to 29th, and then one from July 1 to August 1 to August 5th. Now, these are a little different. These run through the morning for the most part, and they're each of them have a pizza party and a show that they put on at the end of the session. It's music based on what they're used to. They do acting and improv, that sort of thing.
Okay.
The Music Theater West is doing a camp that runs for 10 days, and they're doing Legally Blonde Jr., which is a cut-down version of the show from the studio, and this is something a little different. They do a audition, performance, rehearsals, and then their final production is they're doing two. One on July 23rd, and one on June 25th, and their performances are at 4 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Oh, wow, okay.
And this will be something that the kids will really enjoy. The thing about Music Theater West, of course, is that they're doing work that these two shows are going to be presented for the parents of the kids who are in it, and they may end up, because of the size of their shows and the size of the cast, they may end up double casting the show. So you would see one cast in the matinee and one in the evening.
Makes sense. That would be, times when they haven't done that. I've always thought, wow, what a workload that would be for young actors, what is it? They usually do like 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock or something like that, with a 45-minute break between the two. So that brings us up now to we've already talked about these each in detail on a show back when the lineup was announced, but last that we know of so far on this list is Utah Festival Opera and Musical Theater. and they are running shows from early July to early August. The Magic Flute, Joseph, Carmen, She Loves Me, Man of La Mancha, and The Tenderland. And I caught this. So we'd talked about this before, but I didn't catch this in the description. But July 21st and 23rd, Utah Festival Opera and Musical Theater doing The Tenderland. And it says this will be performed outdoors at the Griffin Farm in Millville. How?
Your guess is as good as mine.
That's interesting.
It's going to be very The Tenderland is like an operetta that was written by Aaron Copland. So it has an outdoor theme, and it has the kind of the feel that you've got to do it outdoors.
That is interesting, and that fits with, I'm familiar with the storyline. This is it takes place on this prairie farm, so outdoors makes sense. That just seems difficult for something. This isn't something that hinges on an elaborate stage production, I would assume, but it does hinge on
good weather.
Yeah, good weather, good acoustics, so that you can hear them sing. That's interesting.
They are the one person. These people are the one people that you're going to have hoping for a drought.
They don't, no rain, July 21st and 23rd. Yeah, that's interesting. But I have to say, if anyone could pull this off, well, Utah Festival Opera.
Well,
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, but they're going to have people from the Festival Opera also performing in the background.
Sure.
So, yeah, she'll be good.
This is going to be interesting.
If it doesn't rain.
If it doesn't rain. Keep an eye on that one. Again, it's just one of 6 productions Utah Festival Opera has planned this summer. But on July 21st and 23rd, Utah Festival Opera Musical Theater will perform The Tenderland outdoors at the Griffin Farm in Millville. Tickets are on sale for this, by the way. If you want to, I would assume this is maybe one Curiosity will get to more people than even your average theater goers. So you may want to get tickets for this one early. I'm intrigued by that. Charlie Schill, our guest here in the studio. One more break to get to, but we have time for comments, questions. If you'd like to join us, 753-5868. We still have a lot on this list. We may not finish it today. We'll be back right after this.
Dr. Josh Redd, chiropractic physician, explains how Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
A lot of our patients end up having autoimmune conditions. This is where their immune system, rather than attacking bacteria, a virus, or other bad things, it starts to attack their own tissue. This can cause so many different issues and symptoms throughout the whole body. The biggest thing for us at Red River is to identify what's causing the autoimmune response to flare up. This could be intestinal problems, blood sugar imbalances, cortisol defects, hormonal imbalances, along with something as simple as dietary triggers and environmental triggers. One of the most common causes, too, when you have an autoimmune condition is you'll have inflammation throughout the whole body. Not every patient will have the same imbalances or the same triggers, and so we have to customize a very personalized treatment plan in order for these patients to feel better.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
It's spring in Cache Valley, and that means Baby Animal Days 2022. Once Upon a Farm at the American West Heritage Center, March 31st to April 2nd. Come see some furry tales featuring the exotic animals from Utah's petting zoo gone wild. Then April 6th through 9th, come see more than just the 3 bears with baby bear cubs from Yellowstone Bear World. As always, the cute and cuddly baby farm animals are available throughout the event. There'll also be wagon rides, historic demonstrations, food vendors, and other hands-on activities. Daily tickets are limited, so buy yours online today at awhc.org. Special thanks to sponsors Young Automotive, Zions Bank, and the Cache Valley Visitors Bureau. Baby Animal Days at the American West Heritage Center. Don't miss it.
DD Auto and Salvage is going to pay you $400 for every junk vehicle. Junk cars haven't been worth a guaranteed $400 in 15 years. DD Auto and Salvage will pick up your junk vehicle for free and pay you $400. Clean up the farm, haul away the junk, and get big bucks today. Call DD Auto Salvage at 787-1204.
That's 787-1204.
For pickup of your junk vehicles today. Every vehicle's worth $400. DD Auto and Salvage. Call 787-1204.
See store for details.
Ah, that's better. Trade in the stresses of building a new home for relaxation. Visionary Homes' priority is giving you a stress-free building experience. Named the best home builder in northern Utah, Visionary Homes' team will guide you seamlessly through the home building process. Call today, 435-228-4702, or visit visionaryhomes.com to learn more about upcoming communities in Nibley, Logan, and Smithfield. Visionary Homes, built for living, built for you.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Charlie Schill, our guest here in the studio in Hour 1, Director of the Family Place, joining us to kick off Hour 2. We'll also speak with Logan Library Director Karen Clark, get an update on how things are going there with the new building construction and their temporary location. A lot to talk about. 2 USU students organizing efforts to help people of Ukraine out of the political science department there on campus. So Hour 2, pretty packed, but we've got a few minutes left with Charlie here in the studio. And Charlie, once again, we didn't get through the entire list. There's still a third of it left here at the bottom, I see. Any final thoughts for folks as they maybe plan their summer out? Do you have any don't misses on this list? Ones that absolutely, no matter what, you're going to be there for?
Well, I've got some favorites.
Pollyanna?
The Magic Flute is a good show. That's a Mozart composition, and that's going to be good. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, the UFOMT has done that before.
Yeah.
It will be good. They've also done Man of La Mancha before, within memory, I mean. So, and I think that's going to be Michael Ballum playing the lead role. So, but Carmen is very, very good. That's an opera. It's got some great music, the habanera, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've really kind of got a soft spot in my heart for She Loves Me.
I'm intrigued by the story of this.
That's based on a movie years ago, in the 40s, I believe, called The Shop on the Corner. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. And
I didn't know that.
It's been redone with Judy Garland and I'm not sure who. I think it was Van Johnson. It's also been redone as You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks and oh, come on, America's Sweetheart. Don't forget
Meg Ryan.
Meg yeah.
Ryan, yes.
Thank you, Bill.
So, yeah, I've really got. Now, I saw that years ago. I think it was the first show that I came up to here to see, and it had Michael Ballum as the lead.
Yeah.
So,
do you think that'll be the case this time around again?
I don't think so.
Too young of a role.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by this. I'm also excited for next week because next week we're coming up on the one that's on my don't miss list. So we've got a lot more to talk about. We're not even through July yet. Next week we'll be talking about Into the Breaches, the Vasco Call Spot.
Sing It in the Rain.
Sing It in the Rain. That's on my don't miss. I've never had the opportunity, and I'm excited to see this one as a live production. there's a lot. So we'll get to part 3 of the list next week on the program. Charlie joins us each Thursday at 4, so be sure and tune in. But you can read his work, news stories, reviews, and more at CashValleyDaily.com. Between now and then, we'll be back with Hour 2 of today's show right after